So good morning students. And module 2, the second half deals with your DC voltage regulators. So under DC voltage regulators we are going to see about the first your basics of your voltage regulator. So the name itself tells your voltage regulator. Regulator means your output voltage should be regulated to some value there. So here we say that your voltage regulator is going to supply a constant voltage regardless of whatever is going to be the change in your load currents there. So what are the factors that are going to affect your output voltage of your regulator is the load current. If the load current varies, then there is a chance of your output voltage to vary. And suppose if your input voltage varies, then also there is a chance of your output voltage to vary. Next is the temperature. So if the temperature of the device varies, then automatically your output voltage also will vary there. So here in this case, these are the factors that are going to affect the output voltage of a regulator. So what are the important features of your IC regulators are, you can have programmable output. It need not be that fixed output it should have, it can be programmable output. So whatever is the desired range we want, we can obtain by choosing the proper value of the components there. Next is we can boost the voltage or current that is going to be available in your regulator. Third one is we can provide your short circuit current limiting. So suppose if there is going to be internally short circuit is going to occur in your regulator, in that case I can provide a short circuit current limiting resistor so that short circuit, because of the short circuit my regulator will not get affected. So we say that it can be internally provided for short circuit current limiting process there. Next is thermal shutdown. Thermal shutdown is because of the heating of the devices, there may be chances in the beta of your transistor to increase, which in turn will take a chance to vary the output voltage there. So if the temperature is going to go beyond a certain level, we can see that a heat sink can be provided and make the temperature to be at the normal working condition there. Next is the floating operation to facilitate higher voltage output. So floating operation is your load terminals can be floated so that we can have a higher voltage output there. These are the features of your IC voltage regulators. So basically your classification of your IC voltage regulators, there are basically two types. One is your multi-pin type, where a multi-pin type we can use your LM723C, that is your voltage regulator, or we can use a 3-pin type. So 3-pin type can be either a 78XX series or a 79XX series there. So here your multi-pin regulators, this is going to be less popular because they have multiple pins and they have greater flexibility and they can produce a high quality voltage regulation there. So here a 723 can be designed as a low voltage regulator or it can be designed as a high voltage regulator there. So it has greatest flexibility there and it can provide your high quality voltage also can be got at the output of your LM723. Next is your 3-pin regulator. Your 3-pin regulator, your design is going to be very simple and in that case we require only 3 pins. So here in this case it can be either a positive voltage regulator or it can be a negative voltage regulator. So classification of IC voltage regulators, we can say that our IC voltage regulators basically 3 types. That was based on the pin numbers. Now based on your regulation characteristics, we can have fixed voltage regulator, adjustable output voltage regulator or a switching regulator there. So here in a fixed voltage regulator I can have either a positive voltage or I can have a negative voltage. So adjustable output voltage regulators nothing but I can adjust the output to the desired range for which I want my regulator to work. Switching regulator is based on the operation of the transistor, your switching regulator will work. So we say that the fixed voltage regulator and adjustable output voltage regulators are going to be called as your linear voltage regulators there. So here in this case, in a switching your linear regulator, we are going to have a series pass transistor is going to be used, where this series pass transistor will be used in the active region there. So in that case, the impedance, when it's going to be used in the active region, the impedance of this regulator will be continuously varied so that it can provide the necessary load current to the necessary current to the load resistor there. So we say that the impedance of the linear regulator is going to be continuously varied so that it can supply a current to the desired load. So by supplying a current to the desired load, my output voltage can vary. I need not have a fixed voltage there. So a fixed voltage regulator and adjustable output voltage regulators are classified under linear regulators. So a basic operation of your power supply, if I am going to see, this is also nothing but a regulator only there. So here your AC input we are going to give from the plug, that is going to be given to your transformer, where your transformer we are going to use a step down transformer. So suppose for example I am going to use 230:12 means that is the output of your transformer is going to be 12 volts. That 12 volts I am going to give it to your bridge rectifier. So when I am going to give it to your bridge rectifier is nothing but a full wave rectifier. You are going to get the output there. So here in this case we are using a half wave there. So half wave rectifier, we are going to get the output of the rectifier. The output of the rectifier we are going to give it to a filter. So where the filter is going to remove. So suppose if there is going to be any AC component that is going to be present at the output of the filter, this AC component is going to be removed and we are going to get a DC component like this, or the output of the filter. Once this filter is going to be given to a regulator, we can see that we can get a constant DC output voltage. So we know that the basic function of the rectifier is to convert an AC voltage to a DC voltage. So I will be using a rectifier here, and this rectifier will contain a small amount of ripple. To remove that ripple I will be using a filter there. So that filter will remove the AC components, the ripple components, and allow only the DC components. So my output will be almost to that of the DC. So to get a perfect DC, I will be sending it to a regulator, where the output of the regulator is going to be a constant output there. So that means that the output I am going to get a VDC output. So this is the basic block diagram which you are going to have in your charger. So an electric charger you are using, that charger is going to have all these are the basic blocks of your charger. What your telephone charger you are using there. So here a switching regulator. The other type is a switching regulator. So here a switching regulator you are going to have a transistor, where this transistor is going to act as a switch. So this transistor will be continuously switched on and off. So here in this case it is going to be turned on and off, and this based on this turning on and off, the regulator will deliver the desired average current there. So here this average current will be delivered to the load. So here in this case that we are going to have a periodic pulse generator which is going to switch on your transistor on and off there. So based on that we will be getting a current. That current will be averaged out and it will be delivered to the load. So when I am going to average it out and deliver it to the load, your power dissipation is going to be less in the case of your switching regulator there. So because of that power dissipation is less means we can save large amount of power there. So by saving a large amount of power, the efficiency of this regulator can be high compared to that of a linear regulator there. So where we will be finding the applications of the switching regulators, it can be used as a control circuit in your pulse width modulation or in your push-pull bridges and your series type switch mode supplies there. So in your SMPS and all, we can use your pulse width modulation, the switching regulators there. That is your series type switch mode supplies. So under that first we will see a fixed voltage regulator. So fixed voltage regulators, we are going to have a positive voltage regulator series with 7 voltage options. So here your fixed voltage regulator, we are going to see two types. One is a 78XX series and 79XX series. So 78XX is a positive voltage regulator and 79XX is going to be a negative voltage regulator. Now under that first we will see a positive voltage regulator series with 7 voltage options. So 7800 is going to consist of 3 terminals. So a 3-terminal positive voltage regulator which is going to have 7 output voltage options there. And next is this IC is going to be designed as a fixed voltage regulator there. And we are going to have the heat sinking property is also going to be there. So adequate heat sink is going to be provided so that it can deliver a maximum current of 1 amperes. So here you are going to have, and in this 7-8 series we are going to have an internal thermal overload protection circuit and internal short circuit current limiting circuit. So both this thermal overload protection circuit is also there, as well as the short circuit current limiting resistor will also be there in this 7800 series there. So here the 7 voltage options are, if it is 7805, so the first 2 digits, 7, 8 tells it is a positive voltage regulator. This 8 tells it is a positive voltage regulator, and this last two digits tell what is going to be the output voltage I am going to get out of this regulator. So here it is 7805 means the output is going to be 5 volts, and if it is 7806 means the output is going to be 6 volts. So here it is 8, here it is 12, here it is 15, here it is 18, here it is 24. So when I am going to use these regulators, the maximum input voltage which I should give is minimum 2 volts should be the difference. Your maximum input voltage can be 35 volts. Except for 24, it cannot be just 26, it should be around 40. So maximum input voltage can be 40. So from 26 to 40 volts, I can give any input voltage. For the remaining regulators, my input voltage should be 35 volts. Next is a fixed voltage regulator. As I said, we are going to have a 3-pin IC there. So 3-pin IC is nothing but one is your input, the third one is your output, second one is going to be a ground terminal there. So it is a 3-pin IC there. So here in this case, to have a proper operation of the circuit, there should be a common ground between the input and the output. So I am going to have a common ground between the input and the output there. So here is, suppose for example, if I am going to design 7805 means my output should be 5 volts. If I want 5 volts to deliver, the minimum difference at the input side should be 2 volts. So here 5 volts means the input should be here 7 volts there. So that much difference I should give so that I can get an output of 5 volts there. So we say that the difference between the input and the output voltages is going to be called as the dropout voltage. So the dropout voltage should be 2 volts even during the low point in the input ripple voltage. So that minimum voltage should be around 2 volts. The difference dropout voltage between the input and output should be, the difference should be 2 volts there. So here next is this capacitance CI. So this capacitance CI, if I am going to see, this capacitance CI is nothing but required if it is going to be far away from the power supply filter. So if the power supply filter is somewhere far and the 7866 is going to be far means, in that case, to remove any ripple components or the noise components, I will be using this capacitance filter there. So we say that the capacitance CI is going to be required if the regulator is located at an appreciable distance there. So appreciable distance from the filter means this capacitance we even use it. If it is nearer means we need not use it, because the output of the filter itself will have a capacitance there. So now, even though here in this case C0 is not required, if I am going to use C0 in the output side of your filter, it is going to improve the transient response of the filter. So transient response of the filter means that noise components and all will be removed, and the transient response, the output response will be smooth. So we can see that we can improve the transient response of the filter. We are going to use C0, and if the CI is going to be located far away from your filter, then in that case CI should be connected between the input and the ground terminal there. So the performance parameters of your voltage regulators are your line or input regulation. So line or input regulation, name itself tells input. Input is nothing but the change in regulation. Regulation is your gain, like gain only it is. So in that case, change in your output voltage for a change in input voltage. So line or input regulation is nothing but change in output voltage for a change in input voltage there. Next is load regulation. So load regulation is change in output voltage for a change in load current. So here load is your output side, so to the load current here. Change in output voltage for a change in load current is going to be called as load regulation. Next is temperature stability or average temperature coefficient of the output voltage there. So here temperature stability is, even though if the temperature of the device varies, my output voltage should not vary that much. So in that case, we are going to define it in terms of a parameter called temperature stability or average temperature coefficient of the output voltage. So the change in output voltage per change in temperature, and it is going to be expressed as millivolts per degree Celsius. So here change in output voltage per unit change in temperature, and it is going to be expressed as millivolts per degree Celsius there. Next is ripple rejection. So ripple rejection means we are going to remove, ripple is nothing but a small amount of AC component that is going to be present along with the DC voltage. So here in that case I have to remove that. That is called remove the ripple component. That is called as your ripple rejection. So ripple rejection is nothing but your measure of your regulator's ability to reject the ripple voltages. So generally a ripple rejection will be expressed in decibels. Next is your quiescent current. So quiescent current is nothing but the current that is required to flow into the regulator, and it is not, this current is not going to be drawn by the load or the internal resistor that is going to be connected in your circuit there. So here your quiescent current is nothing but the minimum current that is required to be flown into the regulator, and it is not going to be included in the current drawn by the load or the internal resistor networks. So basically your regulation, all these parameters, your line regulation, load regulation, your ripple rejection, your temperature stability, all should be smaller. If it is smaller means, then in that case the performance of the regulator is going to be good. Better will be the performance of the regulator there. So we are going to see how your 7